The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Media Mash, a roundtable of Cowboys insiders dropping wisdom and offering sizzling takes on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys. Now, your host, Newy Scruggs.
Media Mash right here on a Thursday. Your Cowboy insiders bringing us information right here from the Star, headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys. We got the originator, Nick Eekman, none greater. We got Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star Telegram, with that beautiful vest. Boy, it'd be a nice Christmas gift. My birthday is December 30th, just to let you know. So, if you got that, you can.
You a Christmas baby?
Yeah, man.
Boy, you only got one Christmas. You only got one gift. Boy, you was a kid that was mad at Christmas.
It was. Don't touch that one.
Because your Christmas gift was your birthday gift.
Right, and they put on the tree.
You didn't get a separate party, separate holiday. You was the kid that was mad at Christmas.
But they went and got you like the birthday paper, though, right? Like, no?
Don't touch it. But, hey, look, I'll say this. It was always a heck of it. You had to wait for that one, but it was good. They made sure it was top notch. It was top notch. So, yes, December 30th, LeBron James, Tiger Woods.
Those come on.
Yeah, those are different birthdays. Bo Diddley, Sandy Koufax.
Those are your days?
Yes.
Everybody knows their day, like the people who they share with, right? Who do you share with?
Nobody knows Bo Diddley and Sandy Koufax anymore.
No. Oh, how about that? Producer Jazz, December 24th. Boy, you really getting robbed.
Ooh.
You are really getting robbed. Hey, Jane Slater.
Oh, Jane, hey,
when's your birthday, and who do you share it with?
November 7th, and who was the woman that developed the polio vaccine?
Is that Eric Trump, I think?
Why are you always coming at me,
The Queen.
No, I think it is.
Nice.
Do you want to unpack some things right now, Newy?
No, I'm just.
We
said. I think that. I'll check that.
I'm looking up November 7th.
But we're glad Jane Slater could join us.
Stupid.
But you know who else?
Lizzo was on my birthday. How about that? Me and Lizzo.
Kaylee Hartong from
Who that?
She messed up a no-hitter one time, jinxing.
Mort has my birthday as well.
Chris Mortensen.
Yes, and I'm trying to see.
Are they famous? We're not talking about
but I'm looking.
famous.
Yeah, hold on.
You just went off the rail.
Go ahead, keep on looking there, Jane. Hey, Nick, you talked about it earlier on the break here, of the owner still wanting to keep up the Odell Beckham Jr. talk. But where you guys went deeper, which was, I thought, hey, this is right. He's not going to sign with the Cowboys and immediately jump on the roster. They're going to have to sign it to injured reserve and work it through here to get him ready to go. Take everybody through that, Nick.
Jane, you were like about to say something. I thought you had something you wanted to add. No, basically though for me, and I don't know if anyone, a lot of people are talking about this, but I just feel like if Odell or anybody wants to be on the team for the first playoff game, then I think he's got to sign this week, because he's got to sign this week, get on IR. It's a 4-week return. Unless they're just going to put him on the roster, which
they could just put him on the roster.
You could do that.
It was actually really smart, Nick. When I saw your article, I was like, wait a minute, some of us aren't thinking about that. And so Ian and I were kicking that around. But I reached out, and what I was told was that because he remains unsigned by an NFL team, he's an unrestricted free agent, he could be like Eric Weddle. The minute he's medically cleared, he could literally show up on a Monday and play on a Sunday. But I actually thought you were really onto something. But it was my understanding. Well, it's not that you're not. I see the logic there, right? I think for the Cowboys specifically, they would want him in here longer. Like T.Y. talking about getting up to speed on the playbook, even though Dak seemed to think he's got the playbook handled. As T.Y. explained to me, it's just Cowboy speak you got to figure out. But I think from a conditioning standpoint, I think there are some concerns about OBJ, who trains at Exos in Arizona, that he hasn't been there as much. Think about it. All we have to do is look at Twitter. How much has he actually been at Exos in Arizona rehabbing?
He got a private jet. He goes back and forth. Sometimes there's problems on flights. But
I'm saying
he don't always have problems on flights.
But listen, if you are so committed to literally playing in the next couple of weeks, you should be training like Rocky every single day.
You should be, but I think the Cowboys got a handle on that, or they wouldn't be doing this. And I think that
if they had a handle on it, he would have not walked out of this facility without a contract, not dissimilar from Jason Peters and T.Y. Hilton.
What I'm saying is that they understand where he is and where they want to be if they do it. This is all a contingent of the Cowboys do it. So it's not just him making that decision. They're also getting involved in the situation. And so the process
Poor
of what
Nick,
happened.
we cut him off, man.
No,
He had a moment to shine. He had an
the
article that had
process-
all of us scrambling
the
on our
process
phones
of how
last
it-
night and this morning.
The process of how he ramps up, the Cowboys got that handle. I mean, all this stuff about what he's doing now, if they sign him, they understand that and they know that. And so they will take care of that process. They wouldn't be doing it if they didn't feel he could do it. And it may just be Jerry.
Yeah,
You know, at
yeah.
the
It
end
is
of the day,
all Jerry.
Yeah, your they
Let's
was
be very
kinda-
clear. It's
well,
all
of course,
Jerry.
and it may just be Jerry, but the bottom line is, stand by.
He's the
stand
one-
by. Jerry's the one
I
that says
think
stand by.
where he threw, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, where he threw an egg
I'm
for me
not.
yesterday, and I started working the phones. I said, "Why does he say this thing's about to break? What does he mean?" Like, he throws out a lot of stuff, right? And I understand Jerry, and even just talking about OBJ, I've said this, it helped that wide receivers room really elevate going back to the bye week, and then it was the Green Bay game. We saw CD step up. Michael Gallup then had the 2-touchdown game. But when he said it'll break, that was taking it another step further for me. And then when I read his article, I was like, all right, Nick, maybe you're onto something.
Well, the thing here is this.
I think it's happening.
When Jerry says...
You still think it's
I
happening?
still think it's
It's
happening.
happening. But when Jerry says stand by, because he understands there's a timeline. If it's going to happen, it has to happen quickly.
Right, it has to
Because of
happen
all
if
the
you
things
want him
that
in the playoffs.
Well, because of all the things we're talking about, you want to get him in here with the trainers to rehab and ramp up.
He
So
told Micah Parsons he'll be ready in 5 weeks, so we're
understand.
now at 4.
Okay, that's fine. Again, when Jerry's talking about stand by, he's only saying that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen quick. It ain't going to happen in 2 weeks from now because that's too late. There's a point of no return
It's not
here.
what a standby flight is. You're
But
right.
not,
Right, that's not what a
necessarily-
point-
But
that's
again,
not-
not necessarily, as I understand it, like Eric Weddle, you can literally come off the street and play week up.
No, he can
Right,
do
right.
that, but I'm talking about for the Cowboys' point of view, for him to maximize his opportunity and for him to help the team, they want him in here as soon as possible so he can ramp up with
They
the team.
want him, but OBJ might be sitting there going,
That's why it's
"I'm gonna
stand
take
by
my
for
sweet
Jerry.
time."
If it's
Right.
take your seat time, it's not stand by, it ain't gonna happen. So Jerry's point is, if it's
He's
gonna
still
happen,
talking to him.
again, stand by can be today, tomorrow, this weekend. I understand
Okay.
that, but I'm saying is there's a point of no return for the Cowboys, which is why Jerry's saying stand by.
And if they don't do it this weekend, like this week, yes, they could go in 2 weeks, and they could just put them on the roster, like you said, or like they've had 52 players on the roster for a few
Right.
weeks now. I mean,
Right.
you can manage the. I mean, they have 3 quarterbacks on the roster right now. I mean, there's things you can do.
Pat
you know?
McKinley, we haven't
First
seen
of all,
much
they got
him.
100 receivers on the roster right now.
Yeah,
There's things you can do.
that's true. Yeah.
So let me ask this.
I mean, it was funny because I was at practice today. I'm sorry, and I just saw Callaway's name. Like, did we forget about Antonio Callaway? You remember that? I was like,
Well,
like,
and then here's-
remember when they signed Antonio Callaway? It's like, okay, here's a guy that they can develop, and he was a former second-round pick, and so he has some potential.
Okay, let me
Ain't
throw
nobody talking about Callaway
But let me
anymore.
throw
are we?
out this thing about OBJ. All right, so you bring him in. Let's say he signs just a 1-year deal, similar for Ty. He comes in here and enjoys the benefit of getting rehabbed by one of the best ACL teams, courtesy Dr. Cooper and Britt Brown. He then gets access to your playbook. He's now ready to rock, and then he's a free agent, and the Giants are going to benefit from this in your division. If Jerry, have you not thought that far ahead?
They not worried about him doing
Wouldn't
play
you?
by.
Am I crazy for bringing that up
Yes.
as a point?
I mean, no. I mean, because you got
Ain't no secrets
It's like
in this
dating.
league.
It's
Ain't no
like I got
secrets
a
in this
man that
league.
ain't ready. That ain't
Cowboys
ready
ain't
for
got this
marriage.
high
I
level.
get him ready for
Cowboys
marriage,
ain't got
and then
this
he
high
goes and
level
marries the next
playbook
girl.
that if the CB gives the Giants something
That
next
felt
year.
personal, didn't
Yeah,
it?
he didn't marry the next girl. He just went on 2 dates with her because that's how many dates you played the Giants. I mean, yeah, that matters, but like, I mean, and the Giants are going to be a
I
problem.
mean, hey, I remember when the Giants signed Jalen Smith to get the Cowboys intel. Did it matter?
Jalen's different than OBJ.
No, it's not. I'm just saying.
Stop.
did he
Stop
open?
the
Did he open that
drama.
playbook?
Let's not
Stop
put too
the
much.
drama.
Let's not put too much
Stop the
stock into
drama.
intel. Oh, we got the Giants Cowboys playbook, and it's going to help the Giants next year.
Newey, you got that BC powder today?
I do.
I'm just saying.
I do. So if T.Y. Hilton plays this weekend and has a good game, does this take Jerry's thirst level down a little bit? What would it mean if Hilton did something? Nope.
Probably just not good for James Washington.
And this was
James Washington wasn't good for James Washington last week.
This was also my next question. Is James
Jalen
Washington
Tolbert.
going to be activated this week, or do we anticipate him being inactive?
I don't know because they don't play special teams. So,
No,
I mean,
actually-
you're not going to get
actually,
T.Y. to play special
I'm
teams.
not going to try to correct you here, but
Yeah.
James Washington, I was surprised. He did play special teams, and he's never done it before, but he did. Like, he was on the kickoff return. He was on the kickoff team.
Okay, well,
he did. And
Did he play it well?
I don't think he was going down there like Kenny
Shade.
Gant, like the Shark or anything like that. But he was. I mean,
Those blinds just came down. Woo, that shade.
it was always. I mean, Clarence. I mean, you can correct him, but he's always going to come back. You know,
I'm
with
just
something. Like,
saying,
okay, did he play it well?
I'm just saying, you got older guys who've never done it before. Those are factors in
True.
this, and he did play it, and so that's fine.
Jalen Tolbert is also here, and he's
Who?
Jalen
Who that?
Offsides.
Who that? Who that?
Offsides. I mean,
Who that?
he hasn't been offsides in a month.
Has he played in the month?
No, but
Okay,
that's
I'm just
not the
curious.
point.
So
Can I ask you this question? And I know I like picking the scabs. I like picking the scabs.
That whole visual is disgusting.
I know, but this whole thing is disgusting because you know what? If they'd have just kept Amari Cooper, we wouldn't need T.Y. Hilton and Odell Beckham. What we
You
need?
know, I've asked that question point blank. I said, has this? I've asked that question point blank, and as it was described to me, just he was counting too much against the cap and wasn't producing enough. I disagree
Lies.
with that. I think you disagree with that. I think we could
This
go around
is
the
just-
table and ask every single person you disagree.
This is clearly a tacit admission they made a mistake. This
I
is
agree.
a tacit
I
admission
agree
they
with
made
you.
a mistake.
That
with
is
Amari
that is
Cooper.
something you and I will agree on today. Hang your hat on that, Clarence.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I don't know if that was. Yeah, I don't think it was a football. It wasn't 100% of a football move there, and I don't agree with it either. And I think he was willing to take a little less money, but
They let their money get mad, and he could have taken a pay. They could have restructured the deal.
He wanted to be
They could have restructured. They could have done a lot of things. I mean, so.
But
no.
that's why I actually low key love this TY signing is because you see his disposition when he comes here. He feels very, and I even asked him, I go, do you feel like kind of a Jason Peters guy? And he said, absolutely. He wants to share his knowledge. He's the fact that he's been so energetic about getting in here, learning this play. He didn't sign and say, all right, hold on, I got to go home, get some clothes, come back. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, first day of practice. I mean, this guy was committed to coming in here and helping this group. And I think that room sort of needed that veteran leadership.
They had
and have
that.
you looked at
They
his
had
numbers in
that.
the postseason too?
They had that. Amari Cooper, route runner,
Okay.
Mr. Route
I
Runner,
agree with
taught
you, but
them.
I'm saying
He's
Amari.
not-
We're not talking about Amari anymore. But I'm saying that's why I low key
it's not even
love
a
the.
scab anymore. That thing is healed and like.
But that's
right?
why
It ain't healed.
That's why I.
It ain't healed because they're still trying to
So this is
inject it.
It's just a
to-
scar.
They're still
It's just
trying
a
to make it
scar.
better.
And it's like for everyone that
just gonna-
says,
scar
"Does
is
this
gonna be
guy?"
there.
For everyone that says, "This guy have any juice? What can he do?" I don't think it matters how much juice he really has, other than passing on his knowledge. And if he draws off some attention from guys like CD, so that he can develop into your number one guy, that's a win for the Cowboys, and honestly, a win for the wide receivers room.
With all due respect,
please share.
Jane, they did not sign him for his damn knowledge. They signed him for
They signed him for
playmaking
both,
ability.
but my
No,
point
they
is,
did
it's
sign him for
not
his
going to be
knowledge.
bad to have him in there.
That's fine. That's extenuating circumstances. They did not sign him for his
disagree.
knowledge. They signed him because they need somebody to stretch the defense. They don't have anybody to go downfield.
Agree.
That's why they signed it, point blank, period. Yeah, whatever you get about the knowledge is just extra. But that's not why they signed it.
Are you missing the
No, but that's what you
argument? He
said. You
doesn't
led
listen.
with the
That's
knowledge,
problem.
and they need a veteran. No, they need a
I said
veteran. They
it's a
need a
low key
playmaker.
sign. I think it's a low key good signing because of the things that he adds. Not to mention he's only costing you $600,000 this year.
I do think that there's got to be receivers out there that are 23, 24, 25 years old that can run fast and stretch the D. I think the fact that he's 33 and he's done it and
Because he's proven. But
Postseason
proven and knowledge is two
but-
different things.
But
I'm saying they
postseason
wanted a
proven
proven
too.
performer, not just because he knows, can help the room.
but also being available and ready to go.
because he's been taking his kids to school every day.
Okay, but the knowledge and being smart as a whip, like Jerry said, is a reason why you can play in 2 days because he knows how to figure it out.
I hear you.
And I think
love
Odell
the
will be
guy.
the same.
I hope he'd be the same way. But you know what? If Odell would have signed last week, they wouldn't be signing T.Y. this week. So all that stuff
we
is
all agree
fine
with
and
that.
dandy.
What? We all agree with
T.Y.
that.
was the second choice. They still may go get Odell. But if Odell
Don't
signs
agree.
with them,
I don't agree. Are they going to cut
they
T.Y.?
only,
Well, they cut
they're not
T.Y.
going to cut T.Y.
when
But
they
the bottom
signed
line
Odell?
is they only started talking to T.Y. told them to start talking to him
Yeah.
last week. They've been thirsty for Odell for over a month.
But we all know he was the
T.Y.'s
backup
been
plan.
out there.
Why are
They
you-
signed.
I don't
They
understand
signed
the tangent.
T.Y. Hilton after they looked at his knee and said, "You can't play right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I need you
that's
to play
my,
right now."
That's my point,
But
though.
why are you going off on the tangent? We all know he was the backup.
Well,
I'm confused.
I am too. What are we arguing about?
Let's take our first break right here on the Media Mash with Clarence Hill, Nick Eatman, and Jane Slater. When we come back, let's empty Jane's notebook. NFL media, Tom Pelissero is in town. Know you tapped in, got some good knowledge, so spit it to us next here.
I think he gave everything to Mike
Dallas
McCarthy.
Did you just shade me?
He gave everything to Mike McCarthy.
Radio.
Yeah, Tom gave everything to Mike McCarthy.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field. United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf. For winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash. I'm Newey Scruggs, joined by Cowboys Insider. We got Clarence Hill, Star Telegram, Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com, Jane Slater of NFL Media. Okay. Empty that notebook. I know you got stuff there. I know there's things you have to say, things you want to talk about.
I just find this whole offensive line thing very fascinating. And, you know, I went up to Zach Martin and I said, remember when we were asking you a couple of years ago about switching from right guard over to left tackle and you were reluctant to do that because of the mechanics? Like, how hard is it to move over there and how fascinating is it that we're having these conversations? And I kind of dropped this Tyron Smith thing, moving over to right tackle, hasn't played there since his rookie year. Jason Peters, who hadn't played at left tackle. I got to keep it straight. There's been so much. But even he said, we've had every combo you can have this year. But he talked about it. He's like, the vision, the mechanics, it's different. And so if you're going to ask guys to move at those positions, especially when we start talking about down the stretch, don't you want to ask your veteran guys to do it and not your rookie? I mean, am I being crazy to suggest that? And now that I'm thinking about it, we were talking in the break, Clarence, when I heard Mike McCarthy talk about Tyron Smith, he didn't drop the right tackle thing. He said he's been getting work at left tackle and left guard. So my thought is, could you see then them keep Tyler Smith at left tackle, move Tyler Smith over to left guard, because that's been his more natural position, even though he's gotten so much work at left tackle, and then you ask Jason Peters to play it right again?
Well, I think that's what's more likely. They're probably going to go in a rotation with Peters and Ball at right tackle.
Do you like that?
I like it because I don't know. Peters played great on those 11 snaps. It's only a 98-yard drive. 40 years old. Can he play 60 snaps a game?
Don't you hate on us in our 40s?
40 years old. 40 is a new 30, Jane. Okay.
True that.
Okay. 40 years old. Can he play 60 snaps, not just one game, but back-to-back games? He has not had that many snaps all season.
It's a good point.
So I think part of it is ramping him up. You want if if that's going to be your guy in the postseason, you want to ramp him up to 30 and 40 and all this. So you don't need to do it all in one game. So I think that you can, against the Jaguars, it's funny because they say they take everybody seriously, but they're doing a lot of experimenting with the Texans. I think they're going to do some experimenting with the Jaguars so they can be optimal against the Eagles.
How did that experimenting work for them against the Texans?
They won.
Yeah.
That's how it worked.
It was tough.
But they won.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. That's the goal. They survived it. They learned some things. But they've been doing it all along. How many times, it's funny because we talk so much about the offensive line and how over the past years, how important continuity and chemistry, and you can't move this guy to this guy. How many times this season have they experimented in the middle of games, moving Conor McGovern to center and this and that? I mean, they've done that all season. They're toying with it because the focus is let's find who our best guys are for the postseason.
I don't think it's terrible.
No, it's great, but I'm saying that's a great attitude. That's one of the best things, the secret things about what Mike McCarthy and Sir Philbin, we got to give Philbin credit. What they're doing is they're not living on these old NFL trieds and codes of you can't do this because we've never done this, and how dare you put that much on this guy and change this guy, and you got to move 2 different positions. I mean, just from the beginning, you got Tyler Smith, a rookie, this season is playing left tackle and left guard in the same game.
So yesterday at the press conference, when I asked Mike about the offensive line and just have you had a situation where you've moved this many guys around, and he said not healthy, which I thought was pretty interesting. He's like, when guys are hurt, yes, but not. Which, in trying to dissect where he was going, I'm thinking we see Peters start at right. I think we see some Tyron Smith at right tackle. That's just in my mind thinking, okay. Your left tackle's done a good job. You got McGovern there. These guys have spent enough time playing together that you could possibly just say your left guys on your left. Okay, keep holding on here, and then on the right, see what you got.
I don't think your left side changes at all. I think it's Tyler Smith and McGovern. And I think you're right. I don't know who starts between Peters or Tyron Smith, but I do think they're both going to play on the right side.
And again, that's the most acute spot. Yeah. That's the spot that needs help. But again, that's the great thing about this team, this opportunities. It's a good problem. Yes, it's disappointing, devastating that Terrence Steele suffered this injury now for the season.
Right.
But unlike past seasons, when you had trash at nickel tackle and swing tackle, you got Jason Peters and Tyron Smith to choose from.
You got some help. So
they haven't played in years, but they played better than that trash they've run out there for nickel tackle for the last few years.
They might actually upgrade. I mean, they seriously could upgrade at right tackle.
So they're sitting here telling us, going down. He's leading us, and you got to wait till Saturday. So we don't know.
Well, he's being coy about it, which is great.
I appreciate the competitive advantage, right?
And you know who's got the hot 911 with Mike that you can call and get from.
Get out of here.
Tom Pelissero's
Get out of here.
So that's what we need to be checking.
He'll probably tell him, but he's not allowed to talk about it until Sunday. So you hear about it on Sunday.
Follow him.
But, to your point, though, you talked about emptying out the notebook. When I went around, I saw Jordan Lewis in the locker room. I said, how hard is it to sit here and watch from the sidelines? And he's, finally being able to walk. And he says he's been helping out, particularly at the nickel position. But he says DeRon Bland has got it down pat. So he loves the way that he's stepping up. But even Jonathan Hankins, who said he'll be back for the playoffs, he said just watching even Quentin Bohanna, he said in just the last 2 weeks that his keys and his techniques have been a better job. But I said, have you ever been in a locker room where you've seen so many guys that can't play really helping other guys? Because we've seen it around here. I'm not naming names. When you get injured, you're not helping the next guy. This locker room has really helped the next guy up. But I thought what he said was we're very confident in the next man up. Because I think we've talked about it at different points this season. Sky's falling. Tyron Smith's down. Sky's falling. Dad's down.
It's
Sky's
great.
falling.
Let's give Mike credit.
I do think you kind of have to give Mike some credit, but also this front office that we've sort of knocked in training camp for not going out and getting this splashy guy here or this guy here in the draft.
How many Pro Bowlers or first-round picks have they acquired since training camp? I mean, I think the answer is like 5. I mean, you're talking about like big-name players from Anthony Barr to Jason Peters, to T.Y. Hilton, to Tack McKinley, whether he plays or not. But, I mean, they're doing it based off of potential. They even got the MVP from the USFL, the best guy in the USFL They got him to see if he can help, and he's been a difference maker.
But I think it's been smart addition of free agents, right?
Yeah.
Like you want guys that want to contribute and that can lend because it is such a young locker room. I know you keep dismissing that, but I do think that is important.
I would say this, and I would say this: the Cowboys have made smart financial decisions with their veterans. I still like the moves the Eagles made of getting guys that can play, that we know they can play from the beginning.
That's fair enough, but look at all the injuries you've had, and you're 10-3 in a tough division this year.
No doubt. We give them
and
credit.
even these AFC teams
but sometimes it's always a yin or yang.
When you're looking at some of these AFC teams,
so you wait to the middle of the season to get a
Lions,
guy on the cheap, or should you go and
threats.
improve this position when you can improve this position off season? I'm saying it's more than one way to skin a cat, and certainly the Cowboys are doing well with that.
Or you can go and get some of these big name guys like Von Miller who are not even available to you.
I'm not talking about Von Miller. I'm talking about some of the guys.
But the Eagles have done it, and they did it one way, and the Cowboys have done it.
I said it's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm just saying.
These are the 2 or 3 best teams in the league.
So one question I'd like to ask, because you brought up Cavante, is he hitting the wall?
Probably. This is 32 consecutive weeks of football for him.
Is he? I mean, seriously, is he hitting the wall? Because he had the fumble.
Yeah.
He had I think the poor decision on not filling that punt that got on before the interception.
That was tough too.
That was a poor decision on filling the punt, and he hasn't had a big return in a while. And he's the kickoff, all of that's I just want to know, y'all think he's? I mean, God bless him. He's played a lot of football. He's made an impact. But there's a question to me of whether the amount of plays he made for a tiny guy is taking a toll on him.
But I'll say this: he has already put enough out there that he is making plays without even touching the ball. Well, I'd say touch the ball, fair catch. But, I mean, there are a lot of punts that are 37 yards and no net, high hang time, and he goes up there and catches it because they really don't want to see him in the open field. So he is making some plays without that, but you're right. We're not.
But 2 weeks ago, he had a nice return.
That's true. He tries so hard.
He does. I think he tries a little too hard.
I think he feels like he's failing if he hasn't taken one to the house. Right. I really think he expects
He told me that. We actually had a conversation. I felt like I jinxed him a little bit because we were having this conversation, and I said, you jump up and down after every play. You seem so disappointed when you're not midfield. And he said, I just want to win every play. And I mean, you think about kind of his journey to get where he's at. It seems to me like he's kind of a kid that you can punch in the face. Oh, that's probably a wrong pun. That's going to jump back up. But that was wrong.
It's okay. Yeah.
But I do feel like he is the type of guy that's going to respond well after that game because we've seen his response. And not everyone responds to the sort of setbacks that he's had. And I'm not defending him, but like to his credit, he's taken full accountability for a lot of that stuff too.
No. And I would say this, that when you only have 8 or 10 plays a game to make a play, every one is important to you. So he's going to jump up and be disappointed because he only has a handful of opportunities every game, and he's out there to be
no participation awards with Clarence Hill, folks.
No, I mean it's a fact. So he only got 8 or 10 opportunities, so every one is important. It's like
Who
a
else
kicker.
are you going to have
This season the game could have been completely different if I know this could have, and he tripped. If you look at the tape, look at the film of the Eagles opening kickoff when he was going right and he cut it left. And he tripped. Like, there's no doubt about it. Thick grass got him. He doesn't do that. That might be the touchdown. It might be 70, 80 yards to open the game. And, of course, that could have changed a lot from that game, which could have changed the season. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, like, he's been so close this year. You think he's going to break one at some point.
Who else would you have there?
Question
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard is still a kickoff return. I don't know about punt return.
Do you want to sacrifice him there?
Yeah.
Why haven't we seen Turpin in plays on the field?
I asked that. I asked that. He said they're in the playbook.
Let's do it.
Got him.
But
I think that you'll probably see that stuff in the postseason.
Don't
you?
Come on, guys.
Yeah,
don't you?
Come on.
I think they're saving some
I
stuff.
don't know.
Come on,
I mean,
come on,
for
guys.
OBJ, what if OBJ wants that
Come on,
play?
guys.
Wow.
Okay,
those are gadget plays. Those are that's not bread and butter of the offense. Those are gadget plays.
Kellen Moore got in the bag. Wait on the
Those are gadget plays.
Playoff.
But I asked him that. I said, why? I go, do they have plays? And I've seen him in pregame warm-ups. You see him out there with the wide receivers.
They haven't had the gadget plays since Cedric Wilson left.
Okay, but see, this, and I've said this for 20 years, and I say it all the time, and every time anybody in college or pro football does a flea flicker, it gets tweeted at me, which I appreciate. But I would run a flea flicker once a game. And I don't know why you wouldn't. And I've never had any offensive coach tell me why they wouldn't.
Because it's situation.
I don't give a crap.
What,
Once a game, I want to run the ball and flip it back.
How about on your 1 yard line? Is that a good time?
No, I'm not saying then. I'm saying once in the game, I want to do that because I want that safety always thinking, you know what, Pollard might flip it back. No, he didn't. He just ran it up the middle for 8.
I don't even know if you need a flea flicker with a guy like Turpin as much. Just put him in a route and make somebody.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Something, a game, a gadget play. I'm fine with that.
Well,
and I don't even think it needs to be a gadget.
Reverse.
But you can put him in a legitimate.
Well, that's why they got T.Y. Hilton here because he can run. They need somebody to stretch the defense. Turpin's been here all year. That one used him to stretch the defense for a reason. He runs a 4-2. Okay. I mean, we're putting too much into this. If he was a guy that they felt could stretch the defense and be that guy, they wouldn't have T.Y. Hilton there.
Simple as that. Let's take our second break here with Jane Slater of NFL Media, Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com, Clarence Hill of the Sport Star Telegram, and Newey Scruggs. This is the Media Mash right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash right here on DallasCowboys.com radio. He is Nick Eatman, the originator and ungrader of DallasCowboys.com.
Hello.
Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star Telegram, longest tenured beat writer in the game and quickly becoming a Mike McCarthy favorite. I think he may send you a Christmas card. I think he may, man.
Like Mike.
I know.
You probably already did.
You know what would be pretty cool? You and Mike at a bar together. I'd like to see that.
We can have some drinks.
Yeah, I want to see that one day.
He's actually, I think that was the disconnect for me when he first came here, because at Combine, he was that guy. And then, the first year we just obviously didn't get a lot of time with him because of COVID. But I think he has done a really good job, particularly this year, just being himself and interacting with us as Mike. Like now the Mike you see at the podium is the Mike that you get away from the podium.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'd be fun to just – and actually – we did get the chance to do that when he first hired. They brought a few people up there.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But he didn't.
But NFL Network gets all the access.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what you said last week?
By the way, that's Jane Slater.
Why are we bringing up old stuff? Why you always bring up old stuff?
I just got to check you.
You got invited.
You walk around this place because you're the longest tenured.
I'm divorced because my wife used to bring up old stuff. Okay.
Jane will bring up some old.
Bringing up some old stuff.
Why is your birth date on your jacket there?
Hey, that's not.
See, you see how personal these people get on this show. You see how personal they get. And Newey's the worst, you guys. He likes to dig. He's pokes.
He loves stirring.
He's a red hot poker.
Master over here.
Wait.
He's a red hot poker.
This man right here got you the other day. with the whole,
that was 100 years ago. Why that was not the
I'm
other
just
day.
saying, man. I am nowhere near him.
First week of the season.
I am nowhere
but
near him.
But he is a puppet master, and he does it with a smile.
I am nowhere near him.
He disarms you with a smile. Look, I'm the nice guy over here. Sprinkle.
Red hot poker.
Look, this is the Captain Hater, the Hazer of the media group.
I'm not a hater. I haze. I don't hate.
It's both.
I just think your nickname Chill is just the most hilarious because you're the least chill person I know.
It's like those big guys they call tiny.
He's a walking contradiction.
Yeah.
Clarence is my frat brother. I take the abuse from Clarence.
You haze. We haze. And pledge all the way through your fraternity.
I pledged in 1990.
We still pledge.
Why is it 2022?
I tell you what, though, I have a ton of respect. I really do for y'all's fraternity. I'm not joking.
Jalen Hurts, yes, sir.
It's unbelievable. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. I always tell that story about in Arizona when we were driving somewhere in Arizona after a football game, and Steve Dennis, he couldn't get this guy to give him directions for anything. The guy was like, "Oh, just go over there and you'll see a highway." And he had a shirt on that had Omega on the shirt. Clarence had the hat, and he was just like, "Hey, man." Finally, the guy saw it. They get out of the car. They go talking for like 10 minutes over here. Clarence comes back. He's like, we're going to go on Hamilton. We're going to take a right here. Then we're going to go up here. We're going to the left. We're going to U-turn. And then we're going to go. I mean, like, he had all the information. And you never met this guy. And it was in Arizona, and you were from Texas.
We were
thing.
Actually, for a Cowboys game, but we went to see Ohio State play Arizona. In Tucson.
We did, and we were in row 90.
Yes, we were in row 90.
It was all, and it was lightning, and I felt like it was right here. It was fun. I had an extra ticket, Ohio State, Jock Taylor, Steve Dennis.
Yeah, we all went.
But it was just, I saw right then the Brotherhood of the Fraternity, and I mean, I always flirt with doing the hooks, but I don't want to get punched.
You probably shouldn't. You'll get hurt.
I
always just say,
Nick,
I wish
you're good with the bros, man.
Derek doesn't let me do it. So
I always just say, I wish I loved something as much as Clarence loves his frat.
It's pretty awesome though. It really is.
You fly that flag, man.
Well, I always say that I could represent Nike. I could have a Tiger Woods hat on or whatever else. I'd rather.
I respect that. That's a good answer. Yeah. Did you see all the love I've given you today?
I appreciate that. I love you too.
What's going on here? Christmas is like a Christmas thing.
I love chill.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
So all the people on Twitter that say I talk over Jane, we're good.
This is how we communicate off this show. We kid because we care.
We gonna talk football here?
What's going on?
This is like group therapy. I actually really love doing the show. This is one of the few shows where I text Nick and I'm like, hey, can I do the show this week? I actually really enjoy it.
And by the way, I just heard a snort, so let's not make sure that I know.
Good,
okay, it happened. It happened.
No, he snorted.
But, hey, I want to throw out a name that I haven't heard. I don't think yet.
Right.
Jaguars? Like, have we talked?
And that's crazy, because it was funny to me because I was
the
asking.
final rung of the AFC South Classic of three straight games.
No, not the final rung.
Well, he meant 3 straight games.
Yeah, because we still got Tennessee.
Three straight. It was 3 straight games here.
You don't get the T-shirt though. But man, can you imagine if they beat the Eagles, and let's say the Eagles lose or whatever, and then you go to Tennessee? I mean, you have a chance to clinch 2 divisions in one game. You can be the NFC East champs, and you would definitely be the AFC South champs, all in one game.
Who's gonna beat the Eagles right now?
It's funny you bring that up.
Because I thought Tennessee had a chance to do that.
Bears?
But it's funny you bring this up, though, because I was looking at the schedule. The record really does not reflect how good Jacksonville is. They've played a lot of these games pretty close. Like the Eagles game, they played them really close.
Gave them everything they wanted. The first game against Washington, they had Washington, and then ended up losing. I actually, in Dallas Morning News, I picked Jacksonville to cover this game.
It's like 4, isn't it? 4.
I'm glad you brought that up because everybody in the media is already talking about Cowboys, Eagles, and Christmas
Parsons.
Eve.
And Micah.
And I was going to bring Micah. It's Cowboys, Eagles. It's like the old college game of the century. That's what everybody's talking about for all the marbles. Mm. And here's Jacksonville. And we've been on this show. We have not, they overlooked Houston. I mean, CeeDee Lamb admitted it. They didn't take Houston serious. I mean, Mike McCarthy won't admit it. Dak won't admit it. But they did not have the same focus for Houston. Are they having the same focus for Jacksonville, knowing because everybody, I know they got this Christmas, they got to get tickets. I know they already sold out. Everybody's already getting tickets for Christmas. Family's gonna be in town. Game of the century, game of the year in the NFL. No one's talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is one of those trap games.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the Jags because I did a little research on that. Christian Kirk tied for the second most in red zone touchdowns in the NFL. That's a little scary considering your cornerback situation right now. You've got Trevor Lawrence, he hasn't thrown a pick in his last 5 games.
He's been great in November.
He's been
Great
on his game.
And over 306 touchdowns in 2 of the last 3 games.
And you've got a head coach in Doug Peterson, who's got some familiarity. Now, he's got a losing record against the Cowboys as head coach, but he has a familiarity, at least with this offense. And that offense, you talked to a lot of people, it hadn't changed that much over the years.
And Evan Ingram had a really nice game last week. And so, yes, there are...
They've got weapons.
All of this is one reason why
they had a million first-round picks over the last 10 years. They ought to have weapons.
One of them's playing for Dallas.
Well, and what? Zay Jones, too. They're 3-0 when he goes for 70 or more yards. So that's a guy you've really got to limit, too.
They got to run. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You have to run, and they've got to find a way to put Jacksonville in some situations so they can get to Trevor Lawrence. When this team is sacking the quarterback, they're good. Like Houston last week, they're not getting to the quarterback. You have issues here. So they've got to figure out how to create some pressure on that excellent young quarterback.
And
who's
how do you
well.
get pressure on a 6'6" guy?
Who can move? Okay, this could easily be a Daniel Jones type game where Daniel Jones ran for 80 yards just by
But I think he's more of he's not a Daniel because he's gonna run the throw. He's not a guy that's gonna try to run the run.
But still, he will run.
Yeah.
I mean, from that standpoint, I mean he's
and as Mike McCarthy said, you know what teams are going to do against you right now, and you know that this run defense is still not fixed, particularly when you don't have Jonathan Hankins in there right now.
Yeah, you got to stop the run, and I think that. The Cowboys are, it's funny because I think the Cowboys have a better chance of slowing down this offense than did the Texans because the Texans ran that junk, that college, that we got a running quarterback, we got a passing quarterback. Let's think about it.
It was low key brilliant game plan.
It was.
It really
but
was.
my point is,
it almost worked.
A team that can throw wants to throw.
Right.
And even though the best mode to attack the Cowboys is to run. And so, like the Vikings, instead of be hard-headed running the ball, we got Justin Jefferson, we got a quarterback, we can throw the ball. Well, fine, you're playing right in the Cowboys' hands.
Right.
So I think that Jacksonville, Travis Etienne has had like 33 yards in the last 3 games. I mean, they are living by the arm of their quarterback, which is great for them, but also plays right in the Cowboys' hands.
Well, they don't give up sacks, though, either.
23.
They don't give up a lot. So, I mean, you're right about that.
Have they faced this fast pass rush?
They haven't. And that'll be, and they should have a frustrated / pissed off Micah Parsons this week. And, he hadn't had a sack in a couple weeks. And
he had some good feedback, too, talking about, was it you that asked this good question? Look at me giving you some more love today. Just his body getting more banged up and getting a little bit more exposed because he hasn't played that defensive end position as much as he has this year. And I don't think he was offering up an excuse, but he was like, it's a little different than last year when you were kind of at times being used there. And now you're being used there a lot. How he's still learning that position, and you're seing him struggle there a little bit. He's looking human a little bit at times.
As an old-time beat writer, I've talked to defensive linemen. That defensive line, that's war daddy.
Yeah.
Okay. You're playing linebacker, and you're rushing off the edge. Those 3-4 linebackers. You don't get caught in the mix. Those are train wrecks inside every play in and play out. So he's getting caught in the wash a lot more than he did last year when you're playing strictly in. You're doing those stunts, those games, those big 6'7", 300-pound offensive linemen hitting on you, running through. That takes a toll on your body. And certainly he's feeling, you see that.
Doesn't he look a little gassed sometimes?
He looks
when
gassed,
he looks
beat up,
field?
he's nicked up.
He looks tired some days.
It's the war daddy position. That thing down there, that's a whole different level of football, and people just don't understand that and get that. So he's feeling some of it. He has to fight through that.
This was fun, as always. Nick Eatman, man, glad you could join Clarence and Jamie to do what they do each week.
I do love this show.
It is fun, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to be a part of it. I will see you in Jacksonville. The Flying Iguana is where Barry Church tells me we need to go for some really good tacos.
The Flying Iguana. Iguana. I want to go to Jacksonville for tacos. No, thank you. I'm from Texas.
All right.
Where are you going then?
I don't know, but I'm just not going to Jacksonville for tacos. I'm sorry. With all due respect to Barry
Fish
Church.
tacos.
I tell you, hater.
I'm just saying. You're from
born hating. Okay.
He's not wrong.
Goodbye. James show's next. Goodbye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?